Hey, how's it going? Vladimir Adonis here. So, hey, if you're listening to this via my podcast, please go ahead and subscribe. If you're listening to this via my YouTube channel, please go ahead and subscribe as well. Today is day number 9 of day 30 of my bite-sized marketing videos. So, essentially, today I want to talk about essentially a secret formula, a secret selling formula that's been around for over 100 years. Today, I want to talk about phase 2 of phase 3 inside of a marketing funnel. My previous video talked about phase number 1. Today is phase number 2, and phase number 2 is essentially, about selling. So essentially, the way that I came about this is that at some point in my marketing career, I had a dating website, and via a dating website, one of the things I started doing is I was marketing outdoors. So essentially, I was out prospecting. I was going out to different venues where, for whether it be, nightlife venues or different dance venues, and I would try and recruit or engage as many people as possible for the sole purpose of trying to get members to sign up for my website. At some point, I said, you know what, there's got to be a better way. So I started to kind of look for a different way to do this whole marketing game. And in trying to learn a different way to do this whole marketing game, I learned that I needed to have a lead generation component to my website. Okay, that's when I came across a specific issue, because essentially I had a custom built website. So I had paid someone a lot of money to build this website for me from ground up, and that person, from a programming standpoint, that person had custom built the website. I had ended the relationship with that specific individual, so I no longer had a relationship with that individual. So now that I knew the importance of having a lead generation component on my website, I had to find someone to build the lead generation component on my website. So I went out to a couple of different, freelance type of websites to try to find a specific individual. Now, keep in mind that I had paid about $30,000 for this specific code, for the specific website. I wasn't about to hand over my code to just anybody. Essentially, I had a couple of stipulations. One of my first stipulations is that if someone wants to access my website for the purpose of trying to help me build this landing page and or this lead generation component, they had to access the code via my specific website. So I remember going through the first individual, giving this individual access to my code to be able to go ahead and access the code for the website to see if he can build me this lead generation type of a system. And this individual had a hard time. And essentially, here I was, this person logged onto my computer. He was doing all of his different magic. He just couldn't make it work. And this happened 3 different times. I tried 3 different people, and for all 3 of those specific individuals, it did not specifically work. And I said to myself, man, this thing just seems like a very hard thing, because in some specific instances, me and a specific individual would spend about 5 hours online. So, him trying to figure out how to go ahead and understand the code for one, because once he understands the code, then he's got to be able to modify it. And then after he modifies, he's going to have to make sure that basically all of the different components are in place before he can start building. So 3 different individuals, no luck, nothing worked. Then I found a fourth individual. Now, this fourth individual, he did eventually figure out how to do one component of a lead generation system via the website. Now, it took us a very long time, because once again, I didn't necessarily trust anyone right away. I wanted the individuals to go ahead and log into my individual computer so that way they can try to figure out the whole lead generation thing. So I remember when he built me the first version of the lead generation system, I said, you know what, hey, this is a good start, because essentially I can start driving traffic to this type of a lead generation component of the website without having to drive traffic to the main page. And then, after we had the first version of the lead generation system, mind you, that took us about 2 weeks, because, based on my schedule, based on his schedule, based on him having to access stuff via my computer, and based on him kind of just trying to understand the code as a brand new person, it took us about 2 weeks. And then I said, you know what, I want component number 2. I want to add this specific component, because at that time, what was happening is that I started to learn more about marketing. So when I started to learn more about marketing, I started to say, you know what, hey, I want this version of a lead generation system. I want this, I want that. And it was just, honestly, it would take him a couple of weeks to go ahead and build these different components. And I totally understand, because from watching the previous 3 people, it's a lot of work. This whole, custom built site, trying to understand and then trying to build all of these different things, it's just not easy. And then with me kind of just advancing my knowledge at that point, I started teaching marketing. I started knowing more about marketing. I started knowing more about lead generation, and I wanted all of these different components, and it was just kind of just happening way too slow for me, to be honest with you. So eventually, I had to end my relationship with him, not because he didn't know what he was doing, but because all of the things I wanted started to become a little bit too cost effective. It started to be too expensive, I should say. It started to be too expensive, and then things were just moving very, very, very slow. And then eventually, as I started to kind of just continue doing my meetup, continue teaching marketing, I came across a landing page software that had a lead generation component. And essentially, this thing had everything that I had been looking for. It was for a nominal fee. And essentially, all of the things that I would wait for weeks and weeks to have built for me or to have done for me, I can do this stuff individually, by myself. I'm not a programmer. I'm not a tech person. So essentially, I can go ahead and take these different components and I can go ahead and build these components within hours. So essentially, when I first started to kind of just build these different components from a lead generation standpoint, it would take me maybe about 4 or 5 hours. Nowadays, I can build this stuff in like an hour or two. So essentially, I ended up, finding something that freed me of having to have a programmer, something that freed me from having to, basically wait for weeks and weeks to get these different components kind of just built. This specific landing page software was built for marketers. It was built for people like you, people like myself, who basically want to have a lead generation component via the website without having to rely on someone else to do the work, or without having to rely on a specific program. So essentially, just kind of just go back. I told you this specific story because I want to show you, the secret, the 100-year-old secret that's been used. So essentially, I want to talk about two things. So there's different ways that you can kind of just present your specific product or your specific services. So in this specific instance, I wanted to tell you why I believe in this lead generation system, why I believe in this landing page software. So if I was selling you a lead generation / landing page software, I would go ahead and tell you the story that I just told you. I would tell you the story based on my specific struggle, based on the struggles that I had and why it was difficult for me to market, why it was difficult for me to generate leads. And then I would tell you what my discovery was somewhere along the way. I wouldn't necessarily talk to you about logic, and I wouldn't talk to you about tech. If I do talk to you about logic, if I do talk to you about tech, I would do those things last, because you know what? Those things are not what sells. That's not the 100-year. That's not the 100-year secret. The 100-year secret is to basically use your individual story. You were born with this. Essentially, use your individual stories to basically talk about your background, talk about your struggles, talk about the different things that you experience leading up to that specific product or that specific service, leading up to that thing that you're offering. You may not have stories yourself, but your customers and other people that you engage with may have stories. So essentially, the two things I want you to get from this specific video is, logic and tech. That's not the thing that sells. A lot of times, when I work with people, they want to talk about all of the logical things, all the logical reasons why people should buy. That's not necessarily what makes it sell. The tech part of it, if you start to kind of talk from a technical standpoint and start to add a whole bunch of technical jargon, that's not good as well. You can add those things, but you have to add those things after you do the story. So you do the story first, and then after that, you do those two things last, essentially. One of the things that I'm doing is that if you are specific to the MLM or network marketing industry, my partner and I, we're holding a free web class. So the free web class has two goals. Goal number one is going to show you how to generate a lead, and then goal number two is going to show you how to turn that lead into customer. There's going to be a link somewhere on this page. You can go ahead and click on that link, and that link will allow you to go ahead and register for the web class. If you're not an MLM, if you're not a network marketer, the other thing that I'm doing is that I'm offering my coaching services / my done for you type services. So if you're looking for marketing services, if you're looking for done for you type services, if you're looking for coaching services from a marketing standpoint, I want to go ahead and pretty much just pass on the knowledge to you. I've done about 43 local marketing events, and essentially I want to go ahead and show you some of the things that I've learned, some of the things that you can use to go ahead and better promote and market your business or your services. So there's going to be a link for that as well. Essentially what you would do is you'll go ahead and click on that link and basically let me know that you're interested in my marketing services or the done for you services, and I will go ahead and send you over the details. So hey, that is my time. The links for the two separate services are going to be somewhere on this page. You can go ahead and click on the link, and we can go ahead and go to the next step. That is my time. Thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you soon.